It was early December, and I found myself at home enjoying my day off indoors by the warmth of the fireplace. The weather outside was excessively cold and snowy, much beyond my preference. Despite the chill, I managed to accomplish various tasks around the house, making it a relatively relaxing day. In the background, the news was reporting the likelihood of high winds and potential blizzards starting by 5 in the evening. As the night progressed, I sensed the worsening conditions outside. Around 7, I switched to a different channel on the TV. The wind was audibly slamming against the house, resembling the onset of a blizzard. Intrigued, I approached the window facing the backyard to observe the surroundings. Initially, all I could see was snow rushing to the ground, obscuring visibility. However, my attention was soon drawn to a figure traversing my backyard. Given the vastness of my backyard and the absence of a fence, it might not have been unusual under different circumstances. However, the ongoing blizzard added an element of surprise. The figure walked at a regular pace towards the end of my yard, disappearing into the snow and darkness. I stayed by the window for a moment, attempting to discern more details, but the snowy conditions thwarted my efforts. Curiosity mixed with concern, I returned to the TV, unable to shake off thoughts about the mysterious figure. 5 minutes later, a knock echoed at the door. Cautiously, I opened it to find a man clad in a heavy winter jacket. His nose was bright red and his face pale, indicating exposure to the cold for an extended period. Although uncertain if he was the same person from my backyard, I felt a pang of sympathy. "How can I help you?" I inquired. The man, with a humble smile and trembling words, explained that he was waiting for a ride and asked if he could seek refuge in my house until it arrived. I deliberated for a moment, considering the severe weather conditions. Making a quick decision, I suggested he wait on the porch, sheltered by the overhang, and offered an old jacket of mine if needed. The man, not entirely pleased, nodded and settled on a chair on the porch. I closed and locked the door, heading upstairs to retrieve the jacket. It was oversized and in poor condition, but in such circumstances, appearance mattered little. As I descended the stairs, ready to open the door, an inexplicable hesitation gripped me. Leaning over, I peered through the peephole. To my surprise, the man now stood right against the door, hand on the handle, seemingly ready to push it open once unlocked. Alarmed, I stepped back, my heart racing. Quietly dialing 911, I whispered into the phone, eyes fixed on the impending threat on the other side of the door. As the police were en route, I cautiously looked again, only to find the man vanished from the porch and front yard. No traces were found that night, and the mysterious man never reappeared. The unsettling thought of what might have transpired had I opened the door lingered, a chilling reminder of the unforeseen dangers that could unfold even on a cold December night. Last year, during the holiday season, I visited my family who lives 15 hours away. Typically, I try to endure the entire drive in one go, but early snowfall had slowed down the journey. Unprepared to book a hotel in advance, I planned to stop wherever I felt the need. Although it was barely snowing when I started, the intensity increased as I progressed. Despite clear roads, everyone drove cautiously. Frustration grew as 8 hours into the drive, I was still not halfway there. By 9 p.m., I decided to press on to avoid prolonging the journey the next day. The snowfall lessened, but the accumulation on the unplowed roads persisted. Exhausted, I reached midnight and decided to rest. I took an exit and pulled into a small motel parking lot. The building, a long one-story structure with around 10 rooms, looked aged, with dim, half-burnt lights on the sign. Approaching the entrance, I found a sign on the counter stating, "Be back in 15, accompanied by a picture of a coffee cup. Realizing my unlucky timing, I returned to my car. This time I noticed the completely empty parking lot, devoid of any cars. suggesting no recent activity. Concerned, I warmed up in the car, questioning the legitimacy of the sign indicating a break. There were no nearby alternatives within 15 minutes, leaving me uncertain where the absent motel worker could have gone during a break. As I contemplated my next move, fatigue overwhelmed me, and I dozed off in my seat. Upon walking up hours later to heavy snowfall and swaying winds, I noticed a man peering through my window. Startled, I saw another man near a truck in the parking lot. The man by my car attempted to open the doors, while the other yelled to break the back window. Desperate, I maneuvered the car, but the thick snow made it challenging. As the men closed in, the back window shattered, intensifying my struggle. One man reached inside, attempting to open the door. Fortunately, I gained traction, spun the car around, and escaped the parking lot. Despite initial pursuit, they eventually stopped following me. Reflecting on the incident, I acknowledged the risk of falling asleep in a deserted parking lot and felt fortunate to have evaded the potentially dangerous situation orchestrated by the two prepared individuals. For the past couple of years, I've been working on Uber Eats during the winter break. College lets out for a whole month, and Uber Eats is the easiest work to pick up without dealing with job interviews and such. Plus, I didn't work during school, so it was a simple way to earn during the holidays. This incident occurred a few weeks before Christmas. It was snowing heavily, but I couldn't afford to be picky about the days I worked, since I had a limited time off to make enough money until the next break. I borrowed my dad's pickup truck and started driving. The snow seemed to have kept many other drivers at home, as I was getting big orders all night. After about 3 hours, an order came in from a drive-through place. The destination was 20 minutes away, but the tip was excellent. There was nothing unusual about this order, just like any other. I picked it up and headed to the house in what seemed like a nice neighborhood on the other side of the county. By 11 p.m., a lot of snow had accumulated on the roads, and I was getting tired. I decided that this would be my last delivery for the night. As I drove through the neighborhood, I observed large houses with considerable land between them. They all had a typical older mansion style, being large but not particularly new. It took a while to reach the address. The driveway was covered in at least a foot of snow, so I parked on the road and walked up to the house, getting snow all over my pants and shoes. I noticed no lights on in the windows, and a piece of paper taped to the front door caught my attention. The notice, issued by the county, raised some curiosity. However, before I could read further, I heard footsteps crunching in the snow behind me. Turning around, I saw a man approaching from around the garage. He had a short buzz cut and wore a dirty jacket. Trying to break the silence, I mentioned the delivery, but the man continued walking without responding. Something felt off about him, a gut feeling. As I handed over the bag, he stayed on the path to the driveway, and it became increasingly strange that he wasn't heading inside. Wishing him a good night, I attempted to walk past him, but he stood still, abruptly turning with an arm outstretched, as if trying to grab me. I stumbled back, and he started stepping toward me, insisting that I come with him. Panicking, I moved back as fast as I could in the thick snow, and he continued to chase me, yelling at me to stop running. Once I gained a good footing, I managed to outrun him and get in my car, driving off before he could reach me. Looking in the rearview mirror, I saw the man standing in the driveway, watching. I called the cops once I was out of the neighborhood, but the man had vanished. Later that night, they informed me that the house wasn't currently owned by anyone. The note on the door might be related to what the man was attempting, but the specifics remain unknown. This whole situation has left me on edge whenever I approach a house with all the lights off, wondering if it might be the same man.